Journeying up through Scotland, we ran out of road in Scrapster. From there, a ferry took us northwards towards Stromness on the mainland of Orkney. These sheer cliffs were our very first views of the Orkney Islands. They're higher than anything on the British mainland. This is Hoy, Orkney's wildest island. In Norse mythology, these rocks are stained blood red by an eternal battle happening here, where the slain rise each night, killing and dying all over again, until Ragnarök, where the world itself will die and be reborn. The ancient lives in the present and future. Take this 380 million year old sandstone. 900 years ago, Orkney's towering cathedral was built from it. 6 centuries later, the sea carved this tower more than twice as high. It, or rather he, may fall in our lifetimes, but the sea is always sculpting new works from the ancient stone. If you were to take the plane, you'd miss all of this. We settled in on mainland Orkney, the biggest island, and started exploring the coast. After traveling so far north, we felt excited and keen and maybe a little restless to see the northern lights. We met lovely new neighbors. We filmed the feathered ones and asked the human ones if they had any tips for seeing the aurora. They recommended apps and Facebook groups, and they taught us that here in Orkney the northern lights are called the Merry Dancers, and I was really eager to dance with them. I have just received an aurora alert on the app that I've been following all week, and that means that we have to get ready and head out as quick as we can. It looks like there's going to be a bit of a break in the clouds in half an hour. If we're lucky, we might see the northern lights for the very first time tonight, which would be beyond exciting. I really can't wait. So yeah, there's no time to waste. I used an app to monitor the weather on the sun, hoping it would get wild and stormy, while Josh was monitoring the island's wild weather on another app, hoping it would clear up. As the solar activity was ramping up, we started to think that maybe we could see a green glow through the clouds. Were we imagining it? We became a little frantic and we were driving anxiously towards more open skies, hunting down the lights. Somehow we managed to keep our eyes on the roads enough to spot another little frantic hunter. Hey little one, this is a road. Sorry, you need to go this way. We managed to persuade the hedgehog to get away from the car, and we kind of felt like we'd be hypocrites if we didn't do the same. Instead of watching radar images of the moving clouds from the car, we got out to watch the real thing. As the wind peeled the clouds back to reveal the stars, reflected in the water of the Ring of Stenness, we saw the aurora for the very first time in our lives. It was just a short little glimpse, but to us it felt so very exciting. The clouds and the dancers came and went, and our anxious chasing energy was carried away with them. We walked over to the nearby Stones of Stenness, which are believed to be the oldest stone circle in Britain, and then to the Ring of Brodgar, and we hoped that the dancers would join us there. Centuries before the blue stones were raised at Stonehenge, the Stones of Stenness stood here under the dancers of light, and people stood or danced between them all. It's a cliche to ask what ancient monuments like these were, in the past tense. As we were watching weightless pillars of light dance between these silhouetted pillars of rock, as people have done for millennia, that question almost seemed a little absurd. People have come here from nearby and from across the sea with ever-evolving beliefs and stories, as stones were added, fell and were raised again. The first builders were only a fraction of the people it has been useful or sacred or special to, as it is to Orkney's people now, as it was, we felt, to us too. We would come back later and meet rangers and learn more about Neolithic Orkney, but that only deepened our sense that this place isn't a ruin. Just like the medieval cathedral, it's a living place of gathering, worship and connection to our ancestors. Filmmakers aren't really meant to admit that they couldn't capture something, but the truth is, I tried and I couldn't quite manage it. What you see in the time-lapse is pretty spectacular, but it's not quite the same as it appeared to our eyes. The camera makes the aurora look more vibrant, but it didn't manage to capture all the intricate movements. The otherworldly dance of the aurora is never quite the same. High solar wind speeds meant that the pillars were smoothly rippling upwards like flames, or like wind on sand. We were so euphoric that despite the freezing wind, we stayed up all night and watched the northern lights disappear into the sunrise. When in autumn 2023, we traveled over 1,000 kilometers north to meet with the merry dancers, we could not have imagined the twist that was to come. In 2024, the sun has been reaching its most active, and in May and October, bright auroras danced right down to our Sussex home and beyond. We had visited them, and then they came to visit us. Intellectually, I know, of course, that the dancers would have come south whether or not we had visited Orkney. but emotionally, it feels as if our Orkney adventure brought the lights into our lives, especially when we stopped chasing them. It feels like that somehow symbolizes the best of what travel can be. You leave home to share new experiences, to see what dances beyond the distant horizon. And when you return home, some of the magic comes with, and you find your own horizons widened and brightened.